Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, your thoughts on the Montoyo news?
Yeah, it's too bad because we love Charlie Montoyo. I think the players in that clubhouse love Charlie Montoyo. But at the end of the day, if, they're not getting the same results, you're going to make a change. And I think the team's going to respond because they're going to all feel really bad that Charlie Montoyo lost his job. And they usually step up in the wake of something like this. But at 40, I think they're 46 and 42, sitting in that wild card spot, and they're underperforming. This tells me that the management in Toronto really has pressure to win now. And so you make this move early to shake this team up and get them back on track, because there's a real pressure in that city for this team to win now and be good this year and capitalize on the young players they have. So they're getting serious in Toronto, and we'll see who they replace Montoyo with.
Yeah, this is clearly a move by the general manager, Ross Atkins, and the president, Mark Shapiro. They know baseball. They know that their team is better than this. And Charlie's got to go. From the viewers, Robin in Prince Albert says, Montoyo's a good guy, just got to get better on his decision-making. Well, what does John Lynch say? Good guys run the Kinsman Club.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
We with the Pats and the Edmonton Expo Center. I'm standing with this team jacket on. Glenn Sather walked out on the bench, and I was literally like, bah, 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 bah. And our assistant GM, he was wearing the same jacket. And he was like, you guys, where did you get those jackets? And I'm like, bah, 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 bah. There was my chance to chat with Glenn Sather. And I soiled myself.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada, Canadian sports fans around the world, and our U.S. friends. Welcome to the RP Show. It is episode number 799. How about that? Your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show emanating from the beautiful Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, where you're going to get some shots of the Grey Eagles' wonderful and traditional pancake breakfast going on down here this week on day 7 now of the Calgary Stampede. We got a great show coming up for you here on Game Plus Television. We're live across all 10 provinces and 31 U.S. states on cable TV and streaming on YouTube. And also maybe you're catching the podcast, and I appreciate you for doing that. Listen, a lot of you won't know this name, but you're going to love him when he gets here. Arnie Jackson. I don't even know how to introduce this guy, and we'll find out when he gets here in hour 2, live at the Stage Bar. Just a legendary broadcaster. And he's been around the Calgary sports scene for, decades, centuries maybe. But I said to the guys in the morning meeting, listen, you don't know Arnie Jackson, but trust me, I wouldn't put a Rudy Poo on the air. He's going to be great. And he's going to talk about all the topics that we have to get to today. Mike Wilner from the Deep Left Field podcast is going to be with us to talk Blue Jays baseball. He's also of the Toronto Star and the longtime host of Jays Talk, and maybe some other special guests dropping in. But none more special than this guy, the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont, with his fluffed, freshly blown hair and shirt, joins us from Lake Country. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, top side of wonderful, as some would say. And look, you've got some really hot takes on the topics. We chatted on the phone 3 times already this morning before we went to air. So, Director Jordan, can you please hit the quick 6 show horn and let's get right into it, please. Listen, we do have for you CFL newbies the talk coming up of Week 6 kicking off a little later on, plus Touchdown Atlantic, plus the game of the week. I'm saving most of that for segment 2. Where we'll have far more time. So, number 1, it's Johnny Gadral leaving Calgary. And if you really want to know my thoughts, you can go to rodpedersen.com right now. It's the top item running my commentary. It's also running on various radio stations on Johnny Gadral leaving. Listen, I think people need to understand. This is somewhat new to me as far as the Flames fans go. It's very similar to Saskatchewan Roughriders fans. This whole city of 1.4 million was on red alert to see where Johnny Gadral would land. And listen to me. I am not exaggerating. Here in the casino, like every worker came by because I was sitting at the stage bar after the show, stopped and just watched the TV. And they're like, I think he's going to New Jersey. I hear he's going to Philadelphia. Oh, I bet he's going to the Islanders. The gas station, the Dairy Queen, everywhere was dialed in on where Johnny Hockey was going to go, okay? You understand what the scene now, Darren, now when I say that? And then they find out that he's going to Columbus, and a bomb went off. A bomb went off because it's like, Columbus for less money? A worse team? What? I get why they're all upset, and clearly you do. I think everybody gets why they're upset. I'm watching all the networks, as are you. Nobody can explain it. No insider saw it coming. And some are even flinging manure at the Flames, not the Stampede, at the Flames, saying, what's wrong with the Flames? Why wouldn't you want to be there? Here's my only point on all this, because Darren's got the hot takes. He didn't want to be here. He hasn't wanted to be here for years. I've watched the games long before we were doing the show out of here. He looks listless and disinterested. His heart was never in it. And that was long before Daryl Sutter showed up. People are saying he left because Sutter's too hard on him. No, I don't think that's it. Now they're blaming Brad Treliving for not re-signing him. There's nothing clearly more he could have done. There's nothing more Brad Treliving could have done. And I'll just say this. For those at the hotel this morning, front desk, guy says to me, Darren, Gadral's gone. Next, Tkachuk's gone. If they don't start building a new rink by November, this team's going to be gone in 2 years. The Flames are going to be gone. And I'm like, cheer up, bruh. Like, whoa, back up the truck. This is a guy that didn't even want to be here. So it might be a case of addition by subtraction. The Flames will be fine. I talked to a Sutter last night. I won't say which one. He just said, hey, look ahead. Don't look back. Just look ahead. Flames are going to be a very good hockey team. Treliving's done a wonderful job. They got the best coach in the NHL. Yeah. So they'll be fine. But that gives you a bit of a vibe there. Now, you've got to take from where you're watching all this from Lake Country.
No, for sure. And, one thing that sucks for Flames fans is you have a guy who had 115 points and he goes and you get nothing in return for him. That part really sucks. But, as Flames fans, you're sitting there and you're watching this and you're like, Columbus of all places? That's like your girl leaving you and then all of a sudden you're surfing social media and you're like, wait, she's with him? Him? Like, him? Right? But when you say this, there's two sides to this. You could say, oh, it was so bad in Calgary that the first opportunity to get out, he was gone, no matter what. But I think I'm with you, where it's like, if your heart is somewhere else, you're going to find his heart to home and to be in the States. And he's 8 hours from Philadelphia and Columbus. So he took less money, took a little less term, and goes to Columbus. But this was a huge shocker, and it's going to take some time to get over in Calgary because this is a team that was on the cusp. Like, they were contenders, serious contenders for the Stanley Cup this spring. And without Gadral, if you don't replace him, and then if Matthew Tkachuk goes too, this team might have to go into a rebuild really quickly.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that'll be a lesson to not draft Americans. I don't know, because they're both, and maybe they're not interested in being here. But that's not even, shouldn't speak for Matthew Tkachuk. We shouldn't. But that just gives you the vibe of what people are saying. And thank you for your thoughts. James in Borden, Manitoba, watching, says, I know no one wants to talk about it, but the Canadian government COVID rules have made a situation where no American wants to live or play here. There's that. I'll say this. I respect everybody's right to an opinion. I don't respect everybody's opinion, but that's his. And here's the thing. It's funny with the analogy about your ex moving on to what you would consider a downgrade. What you should do in life is look in the mirror and go, what did I do wrong? That she would want to be with that instead of this. Nobody does that, though. But I think the Calgary Flames are actually doing this and saying what I think they have looked at themselves internally and said, do we have a problem? I think that they've addressed that they have had a problem. It's not a shock that the culture hasn't been great in Calgary for some time. But you've been here long enough with me, Darren, where you've heard they're turning that around. They're aware of the perception. They're aware of it at least. It wouldn't have mattered. Johnny Gaudreau was gone anyway. So moving on. That's our take. Point two. News from Thursday morning. Hockey Canada says it is in the process of making changes. Whether those moves will be enough to satisfy the general public, fans, federal government, and corporate sponsors remains to be seen. The Sports Under Fire National Federation made a series of announcements in an open letter to Canadians published this morning, including the reopening of a third-party investigation into an alleged sexual assault involving members of the country's 2018 World Junior team. Hockey Canada said participation in this investigation by all the players is mandatory, adding anyone who declines will be banned from all of the Federation's activities and programs effective immediately. The organization previously said it strongly encouraged players to take part in the original investigation into the alleged incident that occurred at a Hockey Canada function in 2018, but didn't make it mandatory. So I'll just say this. Hockey Canada is trying to do the right thing. We live in a time where it's walking in a minefield in life on a daily basis, and some people, you're never going to change their mind. But I'll say this. The culprits were the 8 players. Hockey Canada bumbled it. I've said it before. They've acknowledged that they've bumbled it. So I wish them well moving forward. But that's what came out this morning. Moving on to point 3. It's a mini sweep for the Toronto Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 homers in an 8-2 rout of Philadelphia in the finale of a 2-game series at Rogers Center. It was John Schneider's debut as interim manager of the Blue Jays. He was promoted to the position after Charlie Montoyo was let go earlier in the day. We got Mike Wilner coming up later on to talk about the Blue Jays, but I will just say this, Darren. It was exactly what we thought. You don't need to watch every pitch of Blue Jays baseball to realize this is a team full of all-stars. This is a team that can't be forgiven anymore for being kids, and they were underperforming. And Ross Atkins, the general manager, sat at the podium and said that. And listen, I didn't like Atkins and Shapiro because I like John Gibbons and the Greek kid, Alex Anthopoulos. I liked them. I was very upset. These guys have proven themselves to me. I think they've proven themselves to Canada and as Blue Jays fans that they know what they're doing. And Ross Atkins goes, this starts with me. He's not going to fire himself. So he's got to fire Charlie Montoyo. He's like, I put together a very talented team that should be better than this. Ta-da! That's what we said coming out of the weekend when they got swept in Seattle. It's a great team that's not playing together, nor to their capability. It's exactly what Ross Atkins said yesterday upon the news of the firing of Charlie Montoyo.
Yeah, and you know, they're not going outside the organization to find a replacement on the bench. They're going to promote from within for the remainder of the season and then go about it. Doesn't mean they're just trying to get through the season, but just the fact that, you know, Atkins and Shapiro came out and said, you guys aren't playing good enough, and he lost his job, Charlie Montoyo, because of it. You know, you hope that's enough to wake this club up. And if it's not, they may have to, you know, deviate their game plan a little bit more and bring in another voice into that clubhouse. But for now, you know, obviously teams respond, and they did, and they won, but we'll see where it goes.
Don, our Navy friend, says Americans don't want to play in Canada, and it seems that many Canadians don't want to play in Canada either. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to explain further. And by the way, as we roll along, we welcome your comments in the YouTube chat or on the text line. The number's on the screen, 902-518-3033. Now would be a good time to say that our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, sorry to throw too many sponsors at you guys, but is this: who won day one of NHL Free Agency? The New Jersey Devils, as Alan May said, our analyst yesterday. Ottawa Senators, who I say are winning free agency. They've catapulted themselves potentially into a playoff spot here with DeBrincat, Cam Talbot, Claude Giroux. Very impressive with Ottawa. What do we say? New Jersey, Ottawa, and Columbus signing Johnny Hockey. If you get the number one guy in the market, does that mean that you won day one or other? And so you can vote on that on Twitter or YouTube. The last I saw, Ottawa was leading, Darren. And I ask any of our viewers, are you happy with what your team's done in NHL free agency through 24 hours? For me, I'm still a Golden Knights fan until I decide not to be, although getting the official welcoming to the Flames family yesterday by Tim Hunter is really tugging at the old heart here. But listen, the Vegas Golden Knights shipped Max Pacioretty out of Vegas. Did you see the interview with Tim Hunter yesterday, Darren? We both agreed that the Golden Knights are probably very happy that they are situated in Vegas where the media doesn't know if a hockey puck is blown up or stuffed, as they say, or what it's like. They don't know. Because if they were in Canada, in a Canadian market, they would be getting roasted for poor decisions. Like the general manager, Kelly McCrimmon, came out the other day and said it was Peter DeBoer's decision to get rid of Marc-Andre Fleury. Somebody sent that to me, and I'm like, easy to say now. You fired his ass. Can you imagine? And then they get rid of Pacioretty, and you know what a lot of people think about Max Pacioretty? Just not the kind of guy you can lean on when the chips are down. So what's Vegas done in free agency? Largely clearing out cap room. Your team's the Leafs. So how are you on what Toronto's done?
I know, largely okay. You shuffled some of the bottom six out. You lost out on Ilya Mikheyev. I think that you were going to move on from him. We think Vancouver maybe overpaid. Goaltending took a downgrade. So, yeah, you took a flyer and some cheap pieces. But again, you freed up cap space. That's what the Leafs did, to maybe try and add on the blue line, and we'll see where they go. In Vegas, yeah, I've seen it too. Like a really, it seems like a bad start to free agency for Vegas in their offseason. No direction. They have no loyalty. We know the loyalty has never been there with the players, but Pacioretty, at least in the regular season, could finish. He could score, and those guys are kind of hard to find. We don't know what the future considerations will be. I'm sure it's tied to games played, maybe some goal scoring production, but yeah, Vegas seems like a team that's lost its identity, which was a hardworking, grinding team that really had some pop when they came into the league.
By the way, we're brought to you in the warm-up by Taco Time. For the love of burritos, it's buy one, get one burrito half off at Taco Time every Thursday. Like Vegas is getting raked over the coals because they have no loyalty. Come on, Darren. 75 players changed teams on Wednesday. 75. What percentage of that is that of the league? 10% or more? I think. I'm not sure, but I'm looking at my little guy Brody down in South Florida. My little buddy Brody. It's my favorite member of the Dodge clan. I shouldn't say it, but they know that. His favorite player is Andre Palat of the Tampa Bay Lightning, where he spent his entire career. Now he's in New Jersey, Palat. Like, I look at all these names changing. I'm watching the scroll on the bottom of Sportsnet last night while I'm watching the Blue Jays game. I'm like, he's gone. And we're going to blame the Vegas Golden Knights for not having any loyalty? There is no loyalty. Can the people stop? Loyalty is the unicorn. It doesn't exist. Man, the fans are in this romantic notion, Darren, that there's still loyalty in sports. Yeah. Are they ever going to realize that those days are gone? Are they ever going to realize that?
I don't know. And you see, the younger fans potentially, fans of my age, while we don't see it anymore, in our mid-30s, we still remember the Daniel Alfredsons, the Matt Sundins, the Jerome McGinleys, the guys who spent their entire careers, and every team, it feels like, had a franchise player who played a decade with that organization. Probably had two or three, that core that stuck together for years and years and years. I'm not sure we're ever going to see that again at scale like we did in the late 90s, early 2000s.
It's ball for all when we come back. Our NHL coverage has been brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. We'll turn the page to the CFL next. You're watching the RP Show live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary, Calgary's entertainment destination. We're also live on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics,
Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
As promised, to look at that pancake breakfast. What they say, about 1,500 pancakes will be served. Yeah. Yahoo, I guess is what you're supposed to say at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Just before we bring the Moose back in, be here to see the next generation of international hockey stars and hear the roar of the hometown crowd. The World Juniors returns to Edmonton at Rogers Place from August 9th to the 20th. Purchase your tickets today at hockeycanada.ca. And this week, we've started awarding tickets. Friday, as a matter of fact, we will name the winner of 2 pairs of tickets to the games of your choice, round-robin games at Rogers Place. Let's bring the Moose in now, and I appreciate it. Don, our Navy friend, we welcome the comments from the viewers, too. Don says, and the CFL gets roasted for player turnover. He talked about all the NHL, 75 players switching teams, and he's right. I've said that. The CFL's unfairly maligned for lack of loyalty and player turnover. And actually, as I've watched the games this year, it's not really that bad. We saw it with the NFL last year in the quarterback carousel. Now the NHL, when you sit back and watch the games, no matter the league, you get over it pretty quickly, don't you? That the teams have switched, or the players have switched teams as liberally as they do?
You do get over it, but you still don't have that identity with the players. Like, I brought up Jerome again in the last segment. We only remember him with the Calgary Flames. We don't really remember him with Pittsburgh, or Boston, I believe, were the 2 spots he
or
played.
Colorado.
I mean,
and Colorado.
Or Colorado. Right. We only remember him with the Calgary Flames, right? I mean, that happens with players, and players that bounce around from team to team to team to team to team don't have an identity and don't build that real core fan base. So there is that, and, I don't know. We'll see where this new world is going.
Well, Wayne in Victoria says money is all that matters in sports. It's sad, but true. Well, not necessarily in the case of Johnny Hockey. And further to that, Randy from Winnipeg, watching on Game Plus TV, writes in, he says, I wouldn't say money's the only thing. Family and trying for a championship play a factor also. Not there for Johnny either. Not money, clearly. Not family, because he has none in Columbus. And not championship, because Columbus is going nowhere fast. Now, having said that, I have had the hockey people say, no, Columbus is a team on the rise, which I think they are, with Patrick Laine and obviously our guy Cole Sillinger. Nobody can figure out why Johnny Gadral signed in Columbus, save for he didn't want to be in Calgary anymore. And that's why, frankly, I'm going to be careful who I say it or around or how loudly I say it here, but I appreciate the balls on the kid for saying I want to change. Because the stuff that's being said about Johnny Gadral in this town since he signed in Columbus would be hard to put up with, would be hard to hear. And I'm sure that he's hearing it. So I applaud Johnny. He wanted to change. People don't like it.
What did I tell?
Been there.
What did I tell you? And it came up on a sports talk show in the U.S. It was the guy said, he was having a conversation with his wife, and she asked him, from now until dead, are you doing what you want to do, and are you living where you want to live? And if the answer is no, then you got to do what's right for you. And if Johnny Gadral wants to live in the United States of America, and he wants to raise his kids as Americans, and he wants to be, within a short drive, an 8-hour drive to family and to grandpa and grandma and all those types of things, then he needs to do that. If that's what's going to make him happy, he needs to do those types of things. And clearly that's the decisions he made.
No, he wasn't happy in Calgary, and that's they need to move on, and they will be fine without a guy that didn't want to be here anyways. So, to point 4, I have the Canadian Football League Week 6 kicks off tonight, and to be honest with you, every game's interesting. Yesterday, our poll result was Canada's Game of the Week is, interestingly enough, Calgary at Winnipeg. It's a battle of unbeaten teams. By the way, spoiler alert, or foreshadowing, Jeff Fairholm, Hall of Famer, will be with us on Friday to break down all the Week 6 in the CFL. That'll be fun. I was reading the game notes because I'm no dummy. I am a CFL fan first. So tonight it's Edmonton at Montreal in a rematch of the 2002 and 03 Grey Cups. This is the shirt-tail relatives game that you don't care about. They've come to stay with you. You wish they hadn't, but they're there. You know what I mean? This is not the sexy game tonight, Edmonton at Montreal. And then there's every other game's got intrigue kind of besides this one. Although it's Danny Machocha's debut on the Alouettes sideline. Can I say this? Having spoken to friends and those in the Kahari Jones camp today, they're saying, Danny Machocha, stop running your mouth about Kahari Jones, okay? You fired him. Stop trampling on the grave. You're welcome. But Friday, it's Calgary at Winnipeg. And here's an interesting note, Darren. This is the latest in the season that 2 unbeaten teams have faced each other since 1961. I think it was 4-0 Winnipeg versus 7-0 Winnipeg back then. I think it was like week 8 or 9 that 2 unbeaten teams met. But you see what I'm saying? That's kind of interesting that 2 unbeaten teams would meet in week 6, that it's taken this long. That is what our viewers have said is the sexiest game of the week. Will you be tuned in?
Well, it is the sexiest game of the week. We don't need anybody to tell us that. We know it is. And it's not close either. It really isn't. I mean, we know that Touchdown Atlantic should be a festival, and it should be an appointment viewing game and all of that in the middle of the season, but it just isn't. Because we haven't seen enough about it. There hasn't been enough done to make it a big deal. So to be honest, for most fans, even in the Canadian Football League, they don't know Touchdown Atlantic's even happening this week. But for the Calgary-Winnipeg game, this is the two heavyweights. They're both in the West. This is a West Division preview, West Division final preview early on in the season. Are Calgary back to the old Stamps, or is Winnipeg still the class of the league? We're going to decide it this week.
I'm just going to read some comments as we roll. Mike Horrigan, watching in Toronto, says staying in Canada is not ideal for American players at this time. Ohio State tax is low, and he will keep more of his money. From Glenn Erickson, watching in Medicine Hat, he said, seems like Johnny Gaudreau exchanged a fishbowl in Calgary for a good measure of anonymity in Columbus. That seems to be the thing. If you're zeroing in on it, and Glenn is a hockey guy from way back, it's just from what you hear and see, Johnny is a shy guy. Listen, I'm friends with a lot of Flame staff, more by the day. None of them disliked Johnny Gaudreau at all. They all liked him, right? But they've all said that he was shy, private person. I've been around guys like that, like Weston Dressler. He couldn't stand living in the fishbowl of Regina. And this town, because as you know, I've told you the stories of me going to college here. If we saw a Flame in the bar or a Stampeder in the bar, we were, ooh. And I think a lot of people come up to guys like that, and if you don't like it, it's going to make your skin crawl. And I know for a fact that Johnny Gaudreau is not going to have to deal with that in Columbus, because as you saw me say, Darren, I went to Columbus once. It was closed.
Isn't
put a bump. What?
There's two things on this. One, I look at, the Flames all-time greats. And unfortunately now for Johnny, he's not going to go down as a Calgary Flames all-time great, even though he has the 115-point season. But if you're looking at what your career is going to be like after hockey, he had that opportunity in Calgary to be on the Wall of Honor, up in the rafters, all that. But then he's got to be around Calgary, doing the golf tournaments, doing the speaking engagements, doing all that. And if he wants his life to be in the U.S., he's got to make that move right now. But to the Columbus thing, wasn't Columbus the place for the draft that you went with your dad where his snoring was pulling the curtains off the walls? That's what I thought about the second Johnny Gaudreau. I got the notification that he signed in Columbus. I'm like, wait a second. That's the spot.
We don't have time in this segment or even in today's show to talk. The greatest day of my life with my dad was spent in Columbus, Ohio. And I won't tell the story now. I've told it on the air before. It's a hilarious story. I kind of made that joke about Columbus being closed. I had a good time. I had a good time anywhere. You can have a good time in Yellowgrass, Saskatchewan. Man, which, by the way, these people are talking about Canada versus USA, and it's not a good place to live. Again, I make the most of where I'm at all the time. So I don't buy the country argument, but that's just me. Back on point. Yeah, I get everybody wants to talk about hockey, but we're trying to for this segment right now talk about the Canadian Football League. And Calgary at Winnipeg. I mentioned that being the marquee game. It kind of is for me, Darren, but my dance card's getting full, baby. You talk about going out and doing the golf tournaments and the speaking events. I'm doing that. I'm not a Flames star, but tonight I'm going to the Cavalry game with Abu and maybe his kids. I'm not sure. So I probably won't be able to watch tonight's CFL game, or maybe the start of it. Tomorrow, I want to get to the Chuck Wagons because the Calgary Stampede Corp gave me a pass to go anywhere I want. They're like, what are you doing buying tickets? We got a pass for you, man. Oh, okay. Well, why wouldn't I take part in that? So I want to go to the Chuck Wagons on Friday night, and then Saturday, there's a gang of us going to get together to watch the Riders and the Touchdown Atlantic game. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Have a little bit of a viewing party for Touchdown Atlantic. Wouldn't that be fun? See what you're missing?
Cool. I know.
And then on Sunday, it's what they call Championship Sunday. And to be honest, it'll be a little emotional for me. Championship Sunday of the Calgary Stampede, because my family always gathered around the television and watched Championship Sunday at the Calgary Stampede. And for the first time in my life, I'm going to be there for it. Woo! Heart chakra.
That's cool.
Opening up. So anyways, And then on the Touchdown Atlantic thing, again, reading the game notes on that. Have you anywhere, and this, I don't want to be an indictment on the CFL because they're doing the best that they can. What number Touchdown Atlantic is this? Have you seen it anywhere?
No. I'm going to guess a half a dozen of these they've had.
It's the 5th.
Hot damn!
By reading the game note. And by the way, Nelson Hackowitz writes in, he says he's our VP of Sim Events. Hey, squad, Rod Squad, waiting in the Regina Airport, headed to Touchdown Atlantic. Have a great show. I've seen his post, and I appreciate you, Nelson, for that. So it's Touchdown Atlantic 5. Here are the teams that have never participated in the Touchdown Atlantic. There are 3. Obviously, Saskatchewan, this is their first. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have never played in it, and the Ottawa... No, there are 4. Ottawa Red Blacks and the BC Lions. But we've watched all the Touchdown Atlantics over the years. They've included the Edmonton Eskimos, Montreal Alouettes, Toronto Argonauts, Calgary Stampeders. 4. And there's, I got to check my math. But first-time riders have been in it. Hamilton's been in it. Yeah, there you go. I got to check Hamilton has played in it. It's in the game notes. Yeah. What I know is it's the first time Saskatchewan has. And hey, thank God for Rider fans, by the way. I mean, there's not a lot of seats that are being sold for this. It's a small stadium in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. But Rider fans are going to cram that place for Touchdown Atlantic. The Senko on Saturday on TSN. We got a sports update coming up. We've got Arnie Jackson joining us in hour 2, live here at the Grey Eagle Stage Bar. We'll be right back. You're watching on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, those pancakes are flying off the grill. And Moose, remind me, I almost ran into that guy. Remind me for the discussion on sports radio here in Calgary this morning about pancakes. But first, a sports update on this Thursday. John Schneider is off to a good start as interim manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 home runs in an 8-2 rout of Philadelphia at Rogers Center. Schneider was promoted from bench coach to skipper earlier in the day after Charlie Montoyo was let go. The Kansas City Royals will be without 10 of the 26 players on their active roster for this week's series in Toronto. Whit Merrifield and Andrew Benintendi are 2 of the players who didn't make the trip to due to Canadian restrictions on travelers who aren't vaccinated against COVID-19. The American League wildcard race is getting tighter by the day. Tampa holds the first spot, while Toronto, Boston, and Seattle are tied for the second. The Mariners swept the doubleheader with Washington to extend their winning streak to 10 games. Baltimore is 2 games behind after a 7-1 win over the Cubs, and the Orioles have also won 10 straight. How about that? And week 6 of the CFL season kicks off tonight in Montreal as the Alouettes take on Edmonton. It is the debut of Danny Machocha as head coach of the Alouettes. Oh, and Saskatchewan lineman Garrett Marino says he won't appeal his 4-game suspension for his actions in a win over Ottawa last week. He injured quarterback Jeremiah Masoli with a low hit. This sports update for Edo Japan with freshly made food and high-quality ingredients. Edo Japan is food you can feel good about. You can feel healthy about it. Okay, let's bring the Moose back in from Lake Country. Whatever anybody wants to talk about is on the table. Robin in Prince Albert says, I am multitasking. LOL, watching the RP show on YouTube and watching my old billet online at Lightning Development Camp. Right oh, man, on. How about that? How about that? Vince in the chat says, Line A leaves Winnipeg and the focus is on Wheeler and Scheifele. Gadral leaves Calgary and no raking over the team's veteran players and leadership. Who, from us? We discussed it, Vince, at the start of the show. Johnny's never been happy in Calgary. I can go back through it if you want. It's not a secret. They were even alluding to it over the past couple of years on the Sportsnet broadcasts that there was a culture problem in Calgary, but they've taken steps to address that. Believe me, they have. It starts at the top, and there's been a change there. And the new guy, over the last 2 years, has been making strides. But Johnny's been unhappy since long before that. You can see it watching him. I tell you, Vince, to go read rodpeterson.com right now, where I talked about this. You could see that Johnny was unhappy long before Daryl Sutter showed up. And Darren, my first thought when I saw Gadral signing with Columbus was he left to get away from Daryl. But the more I examine it, I'm like, no, he didn't like Daryl before that. Listen, people writing in saying, and I say this all respectfully, but Jennifer from the Four Seasons, Hockey Canada is reopening its investigation. Yes, it was point 2 in the Quick 6 show topics. We've moved on. But thank you, we already addressed it. So what do we need to rake over the coals in Calgary? I give the Flames a lot of credit. They've looked in the mirror, not over the Gaudreau situation, but over the past couple years and said, we have a problem. So they have taken the steps to address that. Johnny was gone anyways. Do you feel, Darren, that the Flames should be raked over the coals? The guy said their leadership and veteran players should be raked over the coals. Should they be?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so in this situation because I don't think it's about that. I really don't think this is a problem with Calgary or with Daryl. We saw, Gaudreau and Daryl and the connection they had. We saw the production Johnny Gaudreau had with Daryl Sutter. help Johnny get this contract and have a $10 million offer and, end up signing for, just under $10 million per season. So I think that's fine. And I don't think it had anything to do with Brad Treliving. I don't think it had anything to do with the city. This is an international city. This is a world-class destination, the Rocky Mountains and the city of Calgary. So I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think, it's more about where he wanted to be rather than where he didn't want to be, right? It's more about the thing you want than the thing that you don't want. So I think it's that. But the raking over the coals, you look at Laine leaving, people criticized Blake Wheeler for his leadership. They criticized Mark Scheifele, and they picked out these pieces as reasons why, Patrick Laine didn't work out and why he ended up leaving. I think, they're wondering why the Calgary media is not, signaling out Matthew Tkachuk or, Noah Hanifin or, whoever else. It's just not the case. I think they're two different situations.
And Vince, thank you, Vince, for the back and forth. He writes in and says, thanks. Gotcha. Point taken. My jaw was on the floor this morning watching SportsCenter. And it's Salim Valji. He's a friend of ours. He's been on this show. He's one of the very first guys that I got to be friends with when we set up shop in Calgary, believe me. But I was like, he's on SportsCenter saying the Flames were a punchline and should be embarrassed that they lost Gadral. And again, I'm like, you're supposed to be the beat writer of the team, dude. I know how they're going to take that, whether it's right or not. but hey, say whatever you want. But that's not going to endear you to the leadership there. Which, speaking of, and I don't mind talking about this either. I got so many things going on in my head, Darren, clearly. Remind me about what Wayne of Victoria, BC says about the Atlantic Schooners. And maybe I'll just jump in
and pancakes.
Oh, so many things. Well, just this morning, Brent Cron was on Calgary Sports Radio. Brent Cron, former NHL goalie, Hitman goalie. It was hilarious. He went to a pancake breakfast, and he said all they had were pancakes. It was hilarious. Cron's great. He's funny on there. He works out in the oil field.
Yeah.
So he just calls in, and he says, just pancakes? That's lazy. And I'm like, I'm glad that you could say it, because here at the Grey Eagle, their pancake breakfast had scrambled eggs, it had sausage, it had pancakes, it had everything, and pancakes, because here at the Grey Eagle, they don't screw around. But I could see how some outfits would just have a pancake breakfast and just make pancakes. And Ed Cron said, what is that? Sawdust and water. That's what you're serving. So that's one. It was hilarious, man. Oh, wow. Glenn Erickson. Thank you, Glenn. No, you're not late to the dance on this. He says, perhaps late to the dance, but Mark Habscheid is leaving the Prince Albert Raiders for a gig in Europe. How about that? Didn't know that. Breaking news from the Dub. Habby gone. What else is he going to do there? What more can he do there? Randy from Winnipeg says, Hockey Canada is just trying to get sponsors and government money back. No, they're not. They're trying to do the right thing. Get off their ass. They're trying to do the right thing. They've been tarred and feathered enough, man. At some point, can you give them a chance to dig themselves out of the rubble? They've admitted that they've screwed up. They're trying to do the right thing. Stop it, you guys. Now, to the Atlantic Schooners thing. Frank Dill. That's his name. Frank Dill. Sounds like a flavor of potato chip. Or a spicily flavored hot dog. But he says,
Spicy.
Frank Dill says, I'm an Oilers fan, and I am so sad to see Johnny go. I don't know how to take that. But and we got to take a break here and come back for Taco Time viewer takeover. But here's the thing. Atlantic Schooners, where are they? And those guys that own that team, I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to say it. They used to own the Arizona Coyotes. And when I was in Arizona, they had Brad Treliving there as assistant GM, and then he went to the Flames as the top GM. And those guys didn't think Brad Treliving would ever be good as the general manager of the Calgary Flames. Those owners of the Coyotes. They told me that as I'm talking to you right now, because they said, Brad, he has a tough time making a decision. That's what they said. And I'm sitting here going, you guys sold the team. Brad's here. He's put a pennant up in the rafters. They'll be raising that in October, okay? He built a Stanley Cup contender and took over a team with a terrible culture, and he's fixed it, brought in Daryl Sutter, made a decision to fire Jeff Ward and Bill Peters and bring in Daryl Sutter And these guys that are running the Atlantic Schooners now, that I'm starting to wonder if they could find their ass with both hands, said tree living would never be good. And it's just made me realize I got to stop listening to these types of guys. I got to stop listening to them. Because that's frankly how I form my opinion on Brad, because I'm like, well, I know these guys. This is what they said. He worked for them. And they couldn't have been more wrong. Viewer Takeover next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live. You can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
There's a horse moose's size right up front of the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. You wish you'd have no problem jumping on that thing. Nor would I. By the way, it's taco time, viewer takeover. For the love of burritos, it's buy one, get one burrito half off at taco time every Thursday. Can we bring the moose in here now? Listen. You didn't like that. I can tell by the look on your face. Look, we try to jump on that big horse. We try to jump on that big horse in McLeod Trail South. This one would be a lot easier, man. Come on.
I know it would.
Okay.
I asked you when we were at Cody Snyder's bull busting if you would ever jump on or take a ride on one of the bulls. I don't know that I could. Didn't Johnny Knoxville ride a bull in the Jackass movie?
No, he got in the arena with a bull. He didn't ride a bull. And it's funny because Arnie's here, and I can't wait to get Arnie on in hour 2, but he'll understand all this speak. Most people don't. I have ridden steers. That's as large of an animal as I wanted to go. A bull, no, could kill you. A steer's not. He might just nudge you around a little bit. But, no. But those little ponies, I thought you'd get a kick out of. By the way, for those that don't know, coming up in hour 2, Arnie Jackson. I've known Arnie for a very long time. Hey, Arnie? Was running his stuff on the radio long before I met him. He's a broadcasting icon nationally, but for sure here in Calgary and in the Saddle Dome during the hockey season. We just, as fate would have it, ended up sitting side by side. And he just regaled me with story after story after story of his career. And I thought, we got to get him on the air and tell these stories. He's already rolling out with him here in the break, so you're going to enjoy it. Arnie Jackson. Now, to the text line, because we call this viewer takeover. I feel like I'm hearing a lawnmower, by the way. Is that you, Moose, or is there something?
Yeah,
or am I hearing
something
things?
Going on outside. I'm not sure what it is.
That's what it sounds like when I'm in Florida. Okay, I got it. It's good. I'm like, is it me? Wilf is watching in Steinbach, Manitoba, and he says, well, the Jets, as expected, do next to nothing. I didn't want to say it. And we have a lot of viewers on Game Plus television out in Winnipeg and all across Manitoba on Bell MTS cable. How often does it need to be said? Sean Reynolds came on here the other day from Sportsnet Winnipeg and said it's never been a big free agent day. It's the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about. Free agents don't want to sign in Winnipeg. Quite frankly, I don't see a huge difference between Winnipeg as a city and Edmonton as a city. I don't, other than a really nice mall. Wouldn't you agree, Arnie? I don't know, man. That's just how I feel. But they're keeping McDavid, they're keeping Kulak, and they're adding to it. Obviously, Zach Hyman last year and Cody Ceci and blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it is about Winnipeg. Man, if you're paying me $8, $9, $10 million, I'll live on the moon with no Wi-Fi. So what is it about Winnipeg, Darren, that they've never really made a splash?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. The Edmonton thing, the franchise has so much tradition and, steeped in history of success, and there's, it's a very well thought of organization and the logo. And I think playing with McDavid and a chance to win a cup and, Gretzky and all of that, I think that plays into it for Edmonton. Winnipeg doesn't have a lot of that, unfortunately. I think if Winnipeg, it would have to start in the draft, but if you can get one or two really high-end superstars, they had it with Laine, but he wasn't really, I want to say,
guys, how are we on time? Guys, I'm sorry. What are we on time here, guys?
No.
Yeah, we've 15 seconds left. Darren, sorry to cut you off. I will see you a little later on in hour 2, all right?
You got it.
Okay, Arnie Jackson next hour and Mike Wilner from the Deep Left Field podcast and the Toronto Star. You're watching on Game Plus TV.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics, Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
11 throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We with the Pats and the Edmonton Expo Center. I'm standing with this team jacket on. Glenn Sather walked out on the bench, and I was literally like, bah, 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 bah. And our assistant GM, he was wearing the same jacket. And he was like, you guys, where did you get those jackets? And I'm like, bah, 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 bah. There was my chance to chat with Glenn Sather. And I soiled myself.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. We're coming to you live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We are on the stage bar here with episode number 799. Can you believe, of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show? We're coming to you live on Game Plus Television across all 10 provinces and 31 states. We're also live streaming on YouTube. And if you are listening to the podcast, welcome on in. I got a very special treat for you here in Hour 2. You can bring him in now, guys. Arnie Jackson. I said at the start of the broadcast, Arnie, you weren't here yet. I don't even know how to introduce you because you are a jack of all trades. You are not like Tim Hunter. You're not just wearing this because it's Stampede. This is your usual attire, right?
Pretty much year-round, and rodeo pretty much goes year-round, believe it or not. We start in Denver with a National Western in January, and we finish up in Las Vegas with the National Finals Rodeo the first week in December. So there's about 3 weeks that I'm not appropriate in cowboy attire.
And by the way, I didn't just bring Arnie on to talk about rodeo, everybody, because I think today is day 7 of the Calgary Stampede, but this guy has literally covered everything. And I know there were people that have just tuned in for Hour 2, so they didn't hear what I said last hour. Arnie and I found ourselves side by side in the Flames press box at a game here this spring, and I just enjoyed the chat so much, Arnie, because we go back a very long time. But you just gave your thoughts on the Flames and Gadral and Tkachuk and the Stampeders and the old Wranglers and the old Calgary Cowboys and everything else. I mean, this is your town. You've seen this town.
Centennials.
Yeah, the Centennials too. Yeah.
The late Bearcat Murray and I used to share bus driving duties with the Calgary Centennials
Was
way
it junior
back.
team
Yeah, that was Scotty Monroe, who came from Estevan, Saskatchewan, and bought I think they were called the Calgary Buffaloes before that. They became the Calgary Centennials, and we spent many, many wonderful years and hours and days and nights and everything else on the bus and chatting, and grew up with the John Davidsons of the world. Jerry Holland and that great line that the Centennials had at that time. Still some of my favorite memories in hockey. But that goes back to late 60s, early 70s.
Buddy, and when you talk about the John Davidsons of the world, they're going, that John Davidson, the president of the Columbus Blue Jackets you're talking about,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So the thing is, when people say, and for our older viewers that are watching on Game Plus TV, we're very big in the seniors' homes, Arnie. when I say they don't make them like this anymore, this, ladies and gentlemen, take a good look. This is a broadcaster. They don't make them like this anymore. You've covered every sport. You speak so great. So before, and I'll take questions from the viewers. Arnie can talk about anything. But number one, you get Game Plus TV, but you said you didn't know it, right? So you're going to tell us when you get home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the number one cable carrier in Alberta and BC. Tell us, and you'll get Game Plus TV. Number two, Johnny Gadral. This town, can you explain what this town's going through in the last 48 hours?
I think mixed emotions for sure, because the average person doesn't know what goes on behind the scenes. And even the players probably don't know all that goes on, because the player agents are usually law-trained people. If they weren't lawyers, at least they have a very good handle on it. And they look at all kinds of stuff that you and I probably don't think about. We go sign up for a job because we see an ad for it and it looks like something that'd be fun for a while to do. But there is so much involved in having a contract that is extended. What happens if you get hurt and you can't finish that contract? What are the justifications for any other problems, a mental breakdown, alcoholism, or something that comes along? And yes, all of them have to go through those things. So we don't know why Johnny Gaudreau chose. We can speculate on that, but I think between him and his mom and dad, who were here during the playoffs, and his wife, of course, and their new family that's coming along, they made some personal decisions, and I'm not here to criticize him. I would love to have had him here, but it's his life, and he has to live it, to lead by where his heart and his mind is taking him as well.
Whether you believed or not he was the number one free agent on the board is a matter of perspective, but he's certainly been the most covered. And I think the one thing that I want to say is this town is gutted. And you've seen the reaction, Arnie. I mean, they're throwing crap at Brad Treliving and the Flames and saying, what's wrong with the Flames? You're seeing it on the networks. Why doesn't he want to be in Calgary? That's what I'm hearing the most. People don't know the answer to that.
And we don't, for sure. Yeah. You're absolutely right. We don't completely know. You know what I'm most impressed? That it's not all about money, that he took actually less money to go someplace else to do what he loves. And so for those who like to think that the big, well-paid hockey players are all ego-driven by their bank accounts, I would hasten you to think maybe Johnny Gaudreau is one that has other particulars in his heart and in his mind and in his soul, and he's going in a direction that he's felt led to go by however he gets his leadership, and I'm sure it was a family decision as well.
Wayne, watching in Victoria, BC, says, Arnie has a great voice. I can see why he's done all kinds of sports broadcasts. So, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend. And before we switch gears, Johnny Gaudreau's been here 8 years, so you've been in the scrums with him. You've interviewed him. I mean, I don't know him. All the people that I know that work for the Flames, they liked him. They really liked him. Apparently he's a likable guy, but they say that he's shy and he's quiet and maybe it doesn't like the glare that comes with playing for a Canadian NHL team. Does that make sense to you?
There's certainly a point to be made there that has some validity. To what extent? I think he mellowed in terms of his relationship with the media over the time that he was here, realizing that Wow, maybe even New Jersey, where I grow up, is not as hockey a town, and we call Calgary the cow town, but it's a hockey town before it's a cow town.
Yeah.
That's only 10 or 15 days of the year. We used to have Rodeo Royal in the spring, so I could say it was 15 or 16 days of the year we had rodeo at the front. And there's still a fair amount of interest. There's a fair amount of agriculture that goes on, which is the basis for both chuck wagon racing and rodeo. But those events... We're a hockey town. And look at what we've got coming. If you want to talk Calgary for a moment, we've got the Heat coming from Stockton. Next year, you're going to have the Calgary Hitmen still playing here, although I believe they'll be at the Sutina Reserve, which is known as the Seven Chiefs. And that'll be a suitable home for them. It's easy to park. It's easy to get to with the new ring road. And I think they'll get some boisterous crowds. I remember how noisy it used to be in the Corral when we did Wranglers and junior hockey there, and you get 5,000 people can make more noise and make it sound more emotional than when you get 18 or 19 in the Saddle Dome, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So everything considered, Calgary, they lose Johnny Hockey, but they won't lose hockey. And I think there's on the prospects table some work being done to try and get us a new arena. And that will certainly make it even more enticing to stay here for the Flames organization, which also own the Stampeders and the Roughnecks lacrosse.
Yeah, well, for sure. And the thing is, I think the Flames will be just fine with a player that didn't want to be here anyways. So I will just say this to our viewers. A conversation I had this morning with a guy, front desk hotel worker. He said, Gadral's gone. Kachuk's going to be next. If we don't have a shovel on the ground by November, we won't have a new rink, and the Flames are going to be gone in 2 years. And I'm like, dude, you got to go for a walk. You got to do some yoga, man. But that's not atypical of what the mood is here. People are that down. Now, on the Stampede thing, I'm interested to hear you say it's a hockey town before it's a rodeo/Western town. Because the Cowboys go back longer than the Flames do. Cowboys been here for 100 years.
They have, as a matter of fact, over 100 years now. I think it was 2012 we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Calgary Stampede. And that was when Guy Weedick came, who was a New Yorker. So we have a flavor that's U.S.-based, I don't care, in all kinds of things, but certainly our rodeo, because here was a New Yorker with his wife that thought, hey, we could take vaudeville out here to the prairies and make something of it. And the great Guy Weedick, who started it all, is buried just south of Calgary at High River. So
that is unbelievable.
That goes on and on, yes.
But the thing is, Arnie, and I'll say it again, it's a thrill. Arnie's going to be with us for 40 minutes. Are you good to go?
Yes.
We used to run you on the radio stations I worked at, your Chuck Wagon Report, your Rodeo Report. This guy's a hustler, man. He's been at it before anybody else was doing it in this business. But you would do those reports, and you'd call the radio station.
Correct.
Right? And you'd say, hey, I got a report here. I'm Arnie Jackson with a Chuck Wagon Report. And we'd run it, and we loved it, and the listeners loved it. But this is a born and bred Calgary guy. Right?
Correct.
This is my first Stampede, and I'm a little tired of people saying to me, how could it be your first Stampede? You grew up in this. Worked in the CFL for 20 years. I never had a summer. I was never able to do it. It doesn't ever get old to you.
No, it doesn't get old. It's part of who I am. It's part of my life, and I have to give credit to a couple of influencers. And I think most of us have those in our life somewhere. Probably the most impactful influence came from Joe Carberry.
Right.
Because I worked for Joe at CFAC Radio for many years, and it was Joe who said, Arnie, you got the voice to call chuck wagon races. Come on down, see what we're doing. He said, hey, they have a rodeo in the afternoon while they're harrowing the track. Why don't you get an interview or something with the Cowboys, figure out what they're doing, and we'll include that. And I fell in love with that sport. Not because I grew up on a farm, just went there to learn to drive, as many.
Right.
But it was Joe Carberry's influence and the contact with the real people. You can call them cowboys, you can call them whatever. They are the real people who took me in as a city slicker, and I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the people in chuck wagon racing as well.
So, because you dress like this almost all year, I will ask you, what is your favorite sport? Not to cover per se, but maybe as a fan. What's your favorite thing to attend live or watch on TV?
Oh, I guess hockey.
Yeah?
Because I did play-by-play of hockey, and I understand the game. I could sit on the bus with Scotty Monroe and chat about why did you do this, or what about that penalty, or the decision after the penalty, all kinds of stuff. I understood more about the game than just being the casual fan, because I got to travel with the players and off camera, off microphone, sitting beside them on the bus to tell you all kinds of stories. Some you can't repeat on the radio, obviously, and some just out of personal respect were them sharing themselves with you. And I was so privileged to have that access to them. And then turn the page for 20 years later, we got the bid for the 88 Winter Olympics, and Dave King moved to Calgary from the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon, where he was athletic and coaching director there. And I fell in love with Dave King. Seriously, this is a guy that has more knowledge than I could ever read in encyclopedias, particularly about hockey. And what a thrill to do play-by-play of Team Canada for 3 years on the old CKO radio network with Dave King. I used to sit on the bus at the front with Dave because I could learn so much more.
Yeah.
And it helped me able to deliver not just play-by-play of a game, but those filler stories that you don't learn unless you talk to the people, unless you associate and hear them from those people.
In the next segment,
what a privilege.
Oh, yeah, well, for sure. And in the next segment, I think I want to steer it around to the CFL and where the Stampeders fit into all of that. But in the 3 minutes we have left, for the non-rodeo fans that tune in here every day, because it's on Sportsnet every night, I'm watching it, plus the Cowboy Channel, where are we at in the week? We're working towards Championship Sunday, right? Where are we at? Explain what's been going on here.
We're midway through the second pool of Cowboys. So what they do at Calgary now is they invite Cowboys to come and they divide them into pools. So a pool lasts for 4 days. Then those Cowboys can leave Calgary and go do whatever else they want to do. Most of them are back in the States at a myriad of rodeos that are going on right now. Those that come second, and that's why if you look at the roster and it says, whoa, those are all Americans. There's one event that there isn't a single Canadian. That's because when the Americans cross the border, if they're pulling their calves for the calf roping event, they don't want to be going back and forth, so they come for the B pool, and if they qualify for Championship Sunday, they just have 1 day off in between. Because a day off this is Cowboys Christmas time. There's a rodeo somewhere every day, and this time of the year more than one, so they have choices. And Calgary's big money, and it's an important rodeo to be seen at. It is televised, as you said, on the Cowboy Channel as well. And so we're into the section now in rodeo where we're halfway through that B pool, but it's mostly American Cowboys at Calgary. Now, the chuck wagons in the evening is a little different, and there's still some controversy about so many changes. One is, should we go back to 4, or is 3 good enough?
3 per race.
3 per race. Used to be 4, and just about every other track, with the exception of Medicine Hat, we run 4 wagons. So Bonnyville, Ponoka Stampede, Grand Prairie, Dawson Creeks, even Rocky Mountain House, we run 4 wagons in each heat. Why are we only running 3? Because it changes the whole format. You then have 3 segments when only 3 wagons are in each heat, and you don't have a semifinals on Saturday anymore. If I was a marketing sports guy, I'd say, hold it a second. The 4 with everybody running each of the 4 barrels for 4 days, and then you reseat them or you change it all up depending on times, and then you have another 4 days, gets only 8 of the 10. That means you have a Super Saturday semifinal. I mean, if I was a marketing guy, I would be telling the Stampede in no uncertain terms, you're missing a huge opportunity to market the sport by giving up on having that semifinal Saturday, in which you then qualify some drivers to compete in the 9th and final for Championship Sunday. And that's all a marketing thing, too.
I'm pretty sure they've been told. And they made their decision anyway. So, Arnie answering my questions. He'll answer yours, the viewers, when we come back. And he can answer them all. It's hour 2 of the RP Show. We're live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and we'll be right back. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
There's a look outside at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the vaunted Calgary Stampede pancake breakfast. And we got Arnie Jackson here, an absolute... See that bus, by the way? That's carrying the Calgary Flames prospects. They're staying at Grey Eagle, too. Arnie knows this place very well, Satina Nation, where we're at. And trust me, we'll get back to the normal talk. And you know these Grey Eagle folks very well. They said
they have been great, great Chuck Wagon sponsors.
Them too?
Rhonda Whitney from the Grey Eagle here, and her dad, Roy Whitney, who's the chief here at Sutina, have been supporters of Chuck Wagon racing. Kurt Bensmiller, as well as anybody, knows them because they sponsored his wagon for many years. And the wrap-up awards dinner is every year here at the Event Center in the fall in October. So, yes, I'm at home.
Well, I've told me too, and I've told my viewers many times that I've been trying to just slowly tip my toe in the water of the Stampede and this whole Calgary scene. And the Grey Eagle folks said, you should get the Flames on your show, the actual Flames. And I said, well, how and why would I go about doing that? And they said, they're staying here. They're skating at the Seven Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm like, it just doesn't end, man. The energy in this city, Arnie, is unbelievable. Hey?
It's going to be 2 million people in within 10 years, I'll bet it's 2 million people here.
Wow. It's a great spot. Just voted the third best city in the world to live in.
Correct. And no provincial sales tax here.
Even it never has been. never has been. Right. Arnie
so for
Jackson,
those of you running for the leadership of whatever party winds up in power,
don't think
keep
about
it
putting...
that way. No sales tax in Alberta, or we're joining the U.S.
Yeah, so we almost kind of have. But so here at BW watching at Edmonton says, I remember listening to the CFAC for the Chuck Wagons of the 1980s. There was no such thing as sports radio. Well, that would become sports radio, obviously.
Correct.
960. Jimmy Hughes. You would know him pretty well,
Went
right?
to school with him. That's another story for another show.
Okay,
and we'll
sure
get Jimmy to come on the show when we do that.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he is. He just won a real estate award for the best real estate trainer in Canada, believe it or not. But he still does a bit of rodeo. And
Old weather guy, radio guy.
Absolutely. His daughter's doing weather now, Jody Hughes.
Sheesh.
Global. We'll get Jimmy on one day, and we'll just
that would be great. That would be fantastic.
Circus.
Today's a 3-ring almost. Vince, okay, we got a lot of questions here. I'm trying to, we're squirrels around here. We're trying to keep it on track. Our poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is this: who won day one of NHL Free Agency? And your options are the Ottawa Senators, the New Jersey Devils, the Columbus Blue Jackets for signing Johnny Hockey or somebody else. Jeremy Shackleton writes in and says, Detroit probably won free agency day one. Told you, Rod, they would be on your radar. We agonized over who those three teams would be, and I'm glad that you have a write-in ballot saying Detroit. And I'll get your answer to that in a second, but Vince asks, Arnie, over a long history covering sports, what are the top 2 or 3 memorable moments in sports you've covered or witnessed?
Oh, in '89 for sure, when they beat Montreal to win the Stanley Cup, if we're talking hockey. I have so many great ones from rodeo and chuckwagon racing. Just the chance to meet the great Tom Dorchester and visit with him and sit on the stage the year before he passed away, and to watch his son Dallas go on and win Calgary, another of those great moments.
The Olympics, of course.
For sure, the Olympics. And I, to the life of me, don't understand why we have not bid to get them back here. Nobody seemed to really want them for 2026, and I think it was a toss-out. They gave it away. Calgary could have just said, let's have a coffee and talk about it, and they just said, well, we're bringing the certificate to sign. You guys get it for 2026. It would have been a great impetus for the city right now to have the Olympics back. We do need some upgrading of some of the sites, but why not? Here's my thought on the Olympics. If you train in Calgary at 3,500 feet from sea level, you can probably perform at your peak almost anywhere in the world. But if you train at many of the other venues that are much lower, and then you come to a place that's high, like Calgary, that's a challenge for you. The animals have that problem. Stock car racers and dragsters have that problem. They come to Calgary to run. They need to get in a couple of days ahead of time and adjust all their carburetors and everything for the different heights. Why not have Calgary a year-round Olympic training facility and host on a rotation every 16 years or whatever? But the neat thing is you can compete anywhere in the world if you can be competitive in Calgary.
Well, there you go. So there's your answer to that question. From Saratoga, New York, Ryan McCarthy says, my Devils missed out on Gadral, but they signed Andre Palat. I have a feeling they're not done. That's why we've got New Jersey in the option there as who one day won a free agency. But I know my Lightning friend fans in South Florida. I know that's where the Panthers play, but there's Lightning fans down there. They're very upset that Andre Palat has left. My buddy Brody, that's his favorite player. Loyalty, man, it's gone, Arnie, right? We got to get over it. Who would you say?
Mr. Hockey. Johnny Hockey, they called him. He got that buzz name right from the get-go. You could see he was an inspired young man that had a long future ahead of him in the game.
But became uninspired playing here. Are we going to go back on that?
You know what? I watched them a fair amount throughout the season. It never showed up on the ice. Him and Tkachuk, what a great partnership. They didn't need to look to see where each other was. They had that Rogers, Guerin, Holland sense And that's the old Centennial line I was talking about many years ago. Maybe the best junior hockey line ever, at least in that era. And that was something that, it's like a great marriage. It's not something you can go through and check off all the boxes. It either works or it doesn't work. And with Tkachuk and with Gadral, it was there. They didn't have to look at each other to know where they were. The body language was there. The sense was in the stick. And Tkachuk could pull off the neatest goals I've ever seen in my life.
Between his
backwards
legs
and between his legs, and flipped it into the corner.
Well, he still does.
We're going to miss that duo.
Yeah. Johnny and Matthew, yes. Well, hey, by the way, you see, folks, broadcaster. We can call him Cowboys, the John Lynch of the Cowboy John Lynch, or Calgary's John Lynch. You just get on a roll, and I love it. I respect it, because that's what I grew up listening to. But that night in the Saddle Dome, in the press box, Arnie got on a roll, and he said, the Flames have had 3 setters coach them. Darryl twice. Boom, 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 boom. And the first, Brian, Brent, and Darryl, the 3.
Correct.
And when Johnny left, the people immediately pointed the finger at Darryl, right? Yesterday, saying he was too hard on him. And that's why he left. Do you buy that?
Absolutely not. He is the same with every player. And I know the Sutters from outside the game of hockey because they are ranch and farm people. As a matter of fact, Darryl was honored this year at the Ponoka Stampede and rode around in their big stagecoach right at the end to wave to everybody as the coach of the year. And he's right at home. He jumped off the box and was signing autographs with all kinds of fans and stopping and getting pictures. Darryl, away from the spotlight where it's a structured press conference, is a whole different human being. I could sit on the bus and talk to him just like I did Dave King. I could sit in that chuck wagon and talk to him by the hour, and we'd probably never mention hockey because his breadth of knowledge of all kinds of stuff. Here's an interesting story about Darryl. He got let go in San Jose, and the speculation was Calgary was looking for a coach. Would he come to Calgary? Might he come to Calgary? Well, he's an Alberta kid. Yeah, it'd be great if he came to Calgary. So I'm at the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, and I'm starting to walk up the steps to go into the Thomas and Mack Center. Out of the corner of my eye, guess who I see?
Darryl Sutter.
Darryl Sutter and a couple of his buddies. So I go down and I said, hey, Darryl, are you coming to Calgary to coach our hockey team? And he said, we'll see. He said, I have to get this rodeo in. This has been in my heart since I was a kid, and I am so jealous of you because you get to come every year to the National Finals, and I'm always busy in hockey at that time of the year. The best thing that happened to me was not being in San Jose. I got to come to the NFR once. So that's a story that a lot of people don't know, but an experience that I had, and I know Darryl away from the hockey arena as well. We could sit and chat. Just like you and me, we could sit and talk about curling or coffee or anything else, or Calgary.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Anything that starts with a C.
Well, I'm glad to hear what you say about Darryl, because it was a natural thing. I mean, he was hard. He was hard on Johnny. There's no doubt. But he also had an all-star season, 115 points, right? So right from the horse's mouth, if you will. Pardon the pun. Now, hey, I can't let you go without a comment on the Calgary Stampeders, who are playing in the game of the week, as voted by our viewers, Canada's game of the week. The
defending
4-0 Stamps at the 5-0 Bombers. How much time do you spend covering the Calgary Stampeders?
Not as much as I'd like to, because I have a ton of respect for them, but unfortunately, being the voice of the WPCA Chuck Wagon, I'm on the road most of the time. So from the third week in May, we're gone, and the only time I'm home is Stampede week, and guess what takes up my time when we're home? We're back to High River next week, and then Strathmore. I'll try and get to a few of their practices and maybe catch a couple of the post-game interviews with the players, but unfortunately, the Stampeders, as much as I love football, is just at the
down on the depth
time
chart.
of the year, and it's easy to replace me covering the Stampeders. It's probably not as easy finding somebody who understands, knows the sports of rodeo and chuckwagon racing, and is willing to go out and pedal it as hard as I have to, because it's not a high-ticket item. Getting a corporate sponsor to follow you when you're covering rodeo is like, should they still be doing that? Ooh.
That's still happening, huh?
Well, you get people asked because they'd have to go to a president who might be part of the George Soros team and not want rodeo and chuck wagon racing. And that's part and parcel of why Calgary's making some changes, is to show that they care about the animals but they still want to have them, and they're walking a tightrope. I would not want to be on that tightrope in case it breaks.
I've dabbled just a little bit into it, and I'm like, oop, I don't want to be part of this conversation. I told you that before we went to the air. There's a lot of things that I've been kind of pulled into. I'm like, But on the Stamps, the one thing I realized, they're a huge brand in this town. I mean, you come from Saskatchewan where they're the only brand, and you know that. You've been through, they're the only thing. Here, the Stamps they're not the only thing, but they're a big thing.
You know what we have to fix? That border thing, so you don't need a passport to come up from Montana, because our coach is from Great Falls, Montana, Dave Dickinson.
Very popular there.
And all of his colleagues, all of his relatives would love to come to Calgary, but they're not buying a passport just to come up here to see a football game. And there has to be some kind of a soft arrangement that those who have proper ID can just come and stay for the day, or take a bus trip, come and see a football game or a hockey game and go back home again. They'd love to come up here and fish, but they won't buy a passport just to go fishing in Alberta.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't let you go in the 2 minutes we have left on the facilities.
Yes.
I mentioned the guy saying to me today, if we don't have a new rink started by November, we're never going to get one. And forget about a football stadium. I mean, what's the outlook for the facilities here?
At some point in time, as Calgary continues to grow, if the groups that are dealing with a new hockey entertainment facility in the downtown area walk away from it, there'll be something else comes. I know that the late Ken King, who dedicated his life to trying to make Calgary a great sports center, had a vision for the area around McMahon Stadium now, where you would have had a hockey arena, a covered football stadium, and even a thing that you could turn into for speed skating, or baseball could be played there. He was a visionary, and we all miss Ken King, I can tell you.
All right, Arnie, I'll see you around the rodeo. Can we do this again?
We absolutely.
All right.
I'm 5 minutes from your studio here.
Everybody says that. Yeah, it's awesome. Great, centrally located for my friends, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We're going to talk some Blue Jays baseball with Mike Wilner next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
The old pancake breakfast. I don't know. They said they're going to serve 1,500 of those, but I bet you it's more at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Calgary's entertainment destination. That's where we're broadcasting from. It is a big Blue Jays town when they're winning, and it's a mini sweep for the Blue Jays over the Philadelphia Phillies. Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 homers in an 8-2 rout of Philadelphia in the finale of that 2-game interleague series. It was John Schneider's debut as interim manager of the Jays a day after the firing of Charlie Montoyo. And joining us to talk about it is our good friend Mike Wilner, longtime host of Jays Talk from the Deep Left Field podcast and the Toronto Star. Mike, you've been just nuclear on Twitter this week. I've loved it. And the Jays got that win at Mr. Schneider's debut. Your thoughts on the firing of Charlie Montoyo? Everybody seemed kind of surprised that it came down. Were you?
Yeah, I was at the time, and then after being at the ballpark and talking to a bunch of people, I was a little less surprised, but still surprised. I mean, I had thought that the Blue Jays were very happy with Charlie, and that he was there to implement their plan. He was there to keep the clubhouse atmosphere positive, and there had never been any indication that they weren't happy with the job he was doing. But then yesterday at the news conference, Ross Atkins kept saying, we wanted it to work with Charlie. We wanted it to work with Charlie. And very clearly that means that it wasn't working with Charlie. And they felt like this was a move they had to make in order to make sure that they stopped the spiral that the team was on and got it back into the position in the standings where they believe it should be.
Well, you've covered baseball a long time. You know the game. You've been around a lot of Jays managerial firings. It seemed to me as simple as the team is more talented than what their record indicates, which usually leads to a firing. But they just sent him into extension in the offseason, though, right? Would you not agree they're better than their record indicates or not?
Well, I mean, at some point you are what your record says you are, but I do believe that this is a team that has the easy capability to be better than its record. But one of the reasons it was surprising was because this kind of stuff hasn't happened in baseball in a long time. It's used to, for sure, a lot, mid-season managerial changes, and it's very much still a thing in hockey. But in baseball, I think until this season, there hadn't been a mid-season manager firing in 3 or 4 years. And then this year, Joe Girardi gets blown up by the Phillies, Joe Madden by the Angels, and now Charlie. So that's 3 in the last month and a half and none in the 3 years before that. So, that was another reason that it was surprising, because this sort of thing had stopped for a while in baseball.
Well, everybody wants to look forward, and I get that, but let me just ask you this. In the pantheon of Jays skippers, where does Charlie Montoyo rate? How will he go down besides a career 500? I mean, he did get into the playoffs. They got swept, right, in 2 games against the Rays a couple of years ago. But where do you rate him all time for Jays managers?
I mean, it's a longish list, 13 or 14 managers in Blue Jays history. I don't know where to put Charlie specifically on the ranking on that list. He'd be above quite a few, and
below a couple. But look, this is the guy who guided the team through the most tumultuous period in the history of the franchise, and he deserves recognition for that. The fact that he had his hands on the controls last year, where they played home games in Dunedin for 2 months, home games in Buffalo for another 2 months, didn't get off the road until July 30th. They played their first 100 games of the season on the road. That deserves great recognition and a real position in the franchise history. What he had to go through, what they had to go through, and to finish with 91 wins, to have the best record or the second best record in the league after they got home on July 30th. That's really, really significant. To get Manager of the Year votes. Charlie Montoyo was a finalist for Manager of the Year last year, and most Blue Jays managers have never been in that conversation. So I definitely think that this isn't a tenure that will be quickly forgotten.
From our viewers, Tacona in Winnipeg says, middle of the road, Charlie. From David Santa, he says, God, Mike's voice is awesome. Isn't it? And I particularly liked your scathing reaction to idiot callers on Jays Talk. Now you're just doing it on Twitter, right? Like you've had a, not vile week, but a volatile week on social media, Mike. Would you not agree? Going back and forth with people?
I mean, it got a little rough last week at the beginning of the Seattle series, to the point where I just stopped responding to people for a few days, because it was, I'm wasting my time, and I've wasted far too much time and spent far too much time on people who are just screaming into the ether and hoping to get a reaction. But look, when a team's not doing well, fans feel entitled to better. They start looking for someone to blame. They start looking for someone to yell at, and it's getting to be a little. It's a little bit over right now. But I try to engage in good faith discussions on Twitter, and when it becomes apparent that the person that I'm discussing things with is not operating in good faith, then I'm just going to get out of there. But if there are factual corrections that need to happen, then I feel like I need to get the real story out, get the truth out. I don't like when people are angry and wrong about why they're angry. And I figure if they understand the truth, they won't be as angry. But I'm starting to give up on that too.
Buddy, they'll never listen. Just so you know, they'll never listen. But Mike, you just be you, and that's enough, because you're great. Now, to look ahead, and this is like a stick of dynamite went off in the Jays locker room, which I think was the goal of this firing. What do you see ahead? I mean, you'd like to think that professional athletes don't need motivating, but I guess they do. So John Schneider's coaching for his job the rest of the year, or what? What lies ahead here with this baseball team?
Look, it feels like John Schneider's been the heir apparent for this organization since Charlie Montoyo was hired. I mean, they could have given Schneider the job then, but I don't think I think they wanted him to have a little bit of an apprenticeship in the major leagues, and I also think they didn't want him to start with a terrible team. And the 2019 Blue Jays were a terrible team, which is, why that whoever said middle of the road Charlie needs to take a serious look. He got a brutal team that lost 95 games and that was gutted throughout the course of the season. And in 2020 and 21 and 22, they were a winning team and very much above 500. I think over the 3 years, they were probably close to 30, 35 games over 500. So that's what Charlie did when he actually had major league players and a major league team, and he wasn't running Sam Gaviglio out there to lead the team in innings pitched. But I think the rest of the way, I don't think we're going to see much of a tactical change. John Schneider's been the bench coach this season and really the de facto bench coach last season too. So he's had a hand in what the Blue Jays have been doing strategically. Pete Walker has a lot to say about that. I don't think that's going to change. I just think there's going to be a different energy around the team and a different energy in the dugout, and that may well be palpable. We'll be able to see it, and I think the players are going to really appreciate that.
Lastly, from Ultra Tough Scene on YouTube watching, says the kids need to stop being treated like kids and more like pro baseball players. Tough love needed. From Giuseppe, says I follow Mike's podcast Deep Left Field, and that's my weekly fix of Blue Jays here in Italy. Keep up the good work. And we'll end it on that, Mike, for all your legion of fans, and I say that I mean it. Where can they follow your stuff?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Wilnerness, where I've been for years and years and years. And as Giuseppe just mentioned, wow, in Italy. Deep Left Field podcast comes out every Thursday. A new episode just dropped like 10 minutes ago. And it's very, very in-depth detail about the firing of Charlie Montoyo, the hiring of John Schneider. I talked to Jordan Romano, who was, he's the closer now, but he was John Schneider's ace starter for 2 championships in the minor leagues in 2017 and 18. So they know each other very well. I talked to Ross Stripling every week, and Stripling was coming off a phenomenal start last night, and we talked about that. We talked about Charlie Montoyo's firing and what they think will happen. And also this week, Ricky Tiedemann, who is 19, who's pitching for Vancouver, and who's the top pitching prospect in the Blue Jays system. So go find Deep Left Field wherever you get your podcast. We're not on YouTube yet like you, but we'll get there maybe.
Hey, Mike, you rock, buddy. Thanks for popping on today, and keep on keeping on. Talk soon.
Thanks, Rod.
Blue Jays broadcaster Mike Wilner. We'll be right back with a Taco Time viewer takeover, and the Moose will rejoin us. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. You're watching on Game Plus TV. We are YouTubers, of course, as well. And you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
The summer of hockey in Alberta continues, and the future of Team Canada is bright. The 2022 World Juniors return to Edmonton August 9th to 20th. Single game tickets available from $40. Buy now at hockeycanada.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you could be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, broadcasting from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, there's a good look of the exterior of this wonderful place that has hosted us now into our 15th week, Calgary's entertainment destination, and there's a look at the vaunted Calgary Stampede pancake breakfast. By the way, it's a Taco Time viewer takeover now in our final segment, also called Overtime. For the love of burritos, it's buy one, get one burrito half off at Taco Time every Thursday. As we bring the Moose in, Darren Moose DuPont from Lake Country for one final segment. And there you go, Moose. Now you know Arnie Jackson. He is the OG of radio announcers. What did you think of that chat?
Yeah, it was great. And I love sitting there just listening to it. You guys sitting at the desk together. That was pretty good. So hopefully it won't be the last time he's on the show.
Oh, he's got big plans. Big plans. Trust me, we're going to have to go to a Grey Eagle buffet here, by the way, and chat about that. By the way, speaking of buffets, tell the viewers about the Jerry Seinfeld reel that you sent me the other day. Was that from Jerry Seinfeld, or what was that? What was that from?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know who clipped it or what account it was from, but it was from a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up, and he was talking about how crazy buffets are. He's so good at just pointing out real-life things. Crazy buffets are. He's like, where else would you order, fried chicken with Belgian waffles, with cookies, and, a fruit parfait, and a rack of ribs with a side of rice and mashed potatoes? Who would do that? He said, every night you eat like you're going to the electric chair. It is... It's wild. So I just thought of you and me and all of us eating at the buffet every night. So it's fun.
Well, it was funny. What people don't understand with the buffet here at Grey Eagle, I've managed to keep the weight off. What they don't understand is we're not eating 3-4 plates. It's a little bit of prime rib. It's a little bit of pork ribs. It's a little bit of chicken fried rice. It's a little bit of ginger beef. It's a little bit of lemon meringue. It's a little bit of pecan pie. It's a little bit of just a little bit of everything. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, buddy.
It's the most eclectic plate of food ever.
Right. By the way, we encourage our viewers to text World Juniors right now to 902-518-3033. All caps, 902-518-3033. To be entered to win any regular tournament World Juniors game tickets of your choice. 2 winners will be picked every Friday. Edmonton's hosting the World this summer. The World Juniors back August 9th to the 20th. You can also purchase your tickets today at hockeycanada.ca. Somebody is monitoring the texts that are coming in, right? Because I'm seeing them all. And I'm like, this isn't on me, right? You guys are handling that, I assume?
That's right.
Okay. My bell. Couple things here from the text line, from the 902 line. Brian in Withrow, Alberta, says, breaking news, Edmonton Oilers have moved their farm team. It's a Leafs logo with Oilers underneath. They're saying that the Leafs are a farm team for the Oilers. Have you seen that going around? You must have.
Yeah, I've heard the Edmonton Maple Leafs, they're going to change the name. Because they're taking so many former Leafs over to Edmonton, and guess what? They're still not winning Stanley Cups in either place.
Right. No. From Dougal Cameron in Calgary says, as a kid that grew up on the other side of Scotsman's Hill in the 1960s, I hate new wagon rules. They're brutal. I plan to go to Strathmore to see wagon racing the way it's supposed to be. That's with 4 wagons in a heat, not 3. See what I'm learning, Moose? Robin in Prince Albert, Mark Habscheid resigns as Raiders head coach to take a head coaching job in Europe. So coaching vacancy coming up in the Western Hockey League. By the way, or now open in the Western Hockey League. I wonder who will get that. Probably Dave Struch. If I'm putting my money on it right now, it's probably Dave Struch. Interesting take by Arnie when I asked him about the Calgary Stampeders. For our viewers, tomorrow will be a Football Friday. We're going to be joined by Jeff Fairholm, Hall of Famer, Grey Cup winner with the Argos and the Riders, and we're hoping on a very special guest who's been somewhat difficult to pin down. So I guess we're going to have to save the football for Fridays, Darren, because it was kind of sad with Arnie. I said, where are you on the Stamps? He's like, they're just far down on my list. Arnie covers everything.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening, man? I don't know. What's happening to Canadian Football League coverage?
I don't know. Like, it's been consolidated where there's less outlets covering it because, all the focus seems just to flow. Maybe it's through TSN. So in terms of coverage, they're providing it and everybody else is taking a back seat or even taking their foot completely off the gas. I'm not really sure. But you know what? The games have been good this year. I think we've taken a step forward this season in terms of the on-field play, and hopefully it transitions into coverage down the line.
This is why I'm funneling all of the viewers and our football-related interviews into Fridays, and maybe down the road it'll be Mondays, but at least the viewers know that it will always be Football Friday, and that can run year-round because come fall, we got the NFL starting up, and which is a year-round league. But it's just, we got to, last minute of play in the RP show today. Last minute of play. We got to give people what they want. We got sponsors coming on board here like the World Juniors. And, the CFL is doing as good a job as they can. They really are. I told you I read the game notes. We're still fans. I watch every game. What I tell you, this is Touchdown Atlantic 5. And I'm hoping to get together with Fairholm and some buddies and have a little bit of a viewing party here in Calgary to watch Touchdown Atlantic and maybe bring all the Rider fans. Somebody wrote into me, maybe you saw it on our Facebook page, and said, all the Rider fans in Calgary are excited you're doing the show here. All right, well, let's get them all watching then. So
yeah.
Because the world's, man, the merry-go-round still spinning. And are you going to be on it or are you going to be off it? And I just wonder right now where the CFL is. Moose, enjoy the next 22 hours on the lake, buddy. We'll chat with you tomorrow.
You got it. Keep enjoying Stampede.
Justin Dunk with us tomorrow, noon Eastern.
McFly, hello.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Right on. Awesome.